A few years ago, this book came out. It's called The Complete Chess Swindler: How to Save Points from Lost Positions. I bought the book, I started reading it, I didn't get very far with it, and then I forgot about it. But in my last game, blitz game on Game Not, I totally swindled my opponent out of his victory, and I'll show you how I did that. I started as black using the sniper, and once again we're immediately into a position that I haven't yet studied in Charlie Storey's book. So what do? You just carry on. I haven't yet checked the computer analysis. I'm not going to spend too much time in the early stages of this game, except to say that I blundered fairly shortly after this. Once my knight gets activated, where is it? Here he is. This blunder will appear. Here is the blunder. So I've got my knight stuck in the middle, and I go a knight down when I move my queen. This is the actual blunder. Now, white picks up a free knight. So it's not looking too good for me. I plod on. After all, this is blitz. Anything can happen. And we reduce down. I decide to reduce down because I've got a couple of extra pawns. I want to get it, if I can, to just his knight against my pawns. I think that's my best chance for a draw at this stage. Well, it's not going to be a draw. Somebody's going to lose on time. So, and I was losing on time. Anyway, let's plod on. So this is now the position that's looking for an endgame. With my pawns spread across the board, it might be difficult for his knight to pick them all up. However, knights cause mayhem among scattered pawns, so it's still not looking great. But we will soldier on. So I'm steadily advancing my pawns as much as I can. But you see here, he's picked up another pawn, threatening to pick up another pawn here, hoping to enable this pawn to promote. So it's really not looking good. I think I'd just like to swap out those pawns, so now I can concentrate on just this lot here. However, white still has this pawn to deal with. So it gives white a little bit of a problem, but still everything is in white's favour. Simply stops the progress of the pawn. Not far for me to go, not much for me to do, not many options. I'm hoping here for a little slip through, which would totally swindle white out of a win. So I take that, and it looks like white's just going to be able to pick up or to promote. It's not looking good. However, we've not given up yet. Check, move across. This knight is worried about this pawn, and that is, my friends, how I can get in a nice little swindle. Let's see what happens. He's coming up here. Looks like he's going to get in among my pawns over there, but he's still worried about this pawn. If he comes too far over here, I can slip in a quick advance. So he comes back. At that point, I see an opportunity for a swindle. And look at this. This knight, if he comes here, provided I move my pawn forward, let's do that. If he comes here, I slip my pawn forward one. And how does he cover this square? Suddenly, the swindle has taken place. Let me show you that again. Oh. He takes the pawn. He takes the bait. I get my pawn forward. And suddenly, white realizes he has been swindled. At least by moving his pawn down, attempting to promote before me. There's no way now. There's no way now that white can escape. White has been totally swindled out of victory. He presses on, but now I just pick up the knight and it is game over. This is not going to happen. And at that point, he resigned. totally swindled out of his deserved victory. I blundered in the middle game. I lost that knight. I was a knight down. I had two pawns up and one knight down, but it was not looking good. I was also down on time. However, don't give up, especially if you've got some pawns advancing towards promotion, advancing towards the back rank. And where your opponent has a knight, if your pawns are spread across the board, that could be good for you. Although knights, once they get in among the pawns, they cause trouble. So a knight, its disadvantage is it's a short range piece. A bishop has that long range advantage, but the countervailing disadvantage is that the bishop is stuck on one colour. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my swindle, and here's to more pub chess bluffer swindles where we grab victory from the jaws of defeat, or where our opponent grabs defeat from the jaws of victory, thanks to the power of the pub chess bluffer swindle.